All right. Welcome back, folks, to the FF Face Off. My name is Michael Hop. You can follow me on X at the FF Realist. And today we are coming at you with a. Yesterday we did a best ball draft. If you want to go back, we did a. I forget what the buy-in was on that one. But we did a best ball draft. Today we're gonna actually be doing a a classic draft on FFPC. FFPC does a lot of the high stakes drafting. This one's only a $35 entry, so we're not breaking the bank here. There are some drafts. You guys, of course, know Steve D'Angelo, who is a family member of the Face Off, been on here obviously countless times. He's a big FFPC guy. He's a big high stakes guy. So we're going to be doing this draft today. So we have one other team that we know is in here. The rest is filled. I'm not sure who those folks are, but Resident Troll ATL is picking third in this draft. I am picking 11th, which is usually right where I want to be. Once the draft starts in about 7 minutes or so, I will throw the draft board onto the screen. This way you can see it. But just so you guys know, it is a PPR league, but it is tight end premium in the sense that we have 1.5 per reception for tight ends. We have one quarterback, two running backs, two wide receivers. We have a tight end. We have a kicker. We have a defense. We have two flexes, and we can flex the tight end position as well. Running back, wide receiver, tight end can be flexed there. So 1.5 per reception for those tight ends. Be interesting to see how much tight ends fall off the board here. I mean, you do enough mock drafts or you do enough of best ball drafts, whatever. You want to try and mix it up to give people variety for two reasons. One, maybe they're new to this. Maybe they haven't done a tight end premium, and maybe they see the way the draft goes and they say, "Hey, I want to get on that." So that could be one thing, and then obviously the other way is just to help you prepare, help you get ready for that specific draft. People draft differently, depending on what the type of draft are, which is why you have to always listen to your settings. The settings will guide you. They'll tell you how to draft. We have Peter here. He is in Philadelphia. He will give me a guilt trip at some point because I am not there. He is at the SFB 16 draft, drafting from the Pokemon division, which I didn't get a chance to roast Pete enough on that one. I wonder, since you're in the Pokemon division, do you hunt for Pokemon while you're there drafting? Do you look under the bar stools or something? I'm just curious. Sounds like a 12-year-old in a Pokemon division, but whatever. We'll leave that alone. There's Jamie. What's up, dude? What's up, Jamie? How you been, buddy? I missed you. Haven't, if you guys didn't watch yesterday's show, we got 5 minutes till this draft starts. So I'll just say, if you guys didn't watch yesterday's show, I did apologize for my absence. It's been a while, a lot of stuff going on. Some good, some great, some whatever. But, either way, here now, going to be putting out more content as we roll along. During the week might be a little bit more pre-recorded stuff than I would like, but just working out some stuff scheduling-wise. We will be doing the Sunday Stardom Situm show. Can't say that too fast, otherwise I say shit out loud. But yeah, we're going to be doing that on Sundays. That'll be live, of course. We are going to be doing some other content as well, a lot of drafts. And then, Jamie said, your show yesterday didn't have a live chat. Tried to say hi. Yeah, I added the live chat. What was that, about a 40-minute show? I think I decided to add the live chat maybe about 25 minutes in because Pete let me know that I was messed up on that. Something with the YouTube settings I had wrong. First time back in the saddle, so those things will happen. That will happen, as they say. But looking forward to this draft here. Again, just so folks know, I'll rattle it off again in case you weren't here for the start. This is a FFPC draft. This is not a best ball draft. This is a classic draft. So this is you've got to set the lineup. So, when I was doing a best ball draft yesterday, I was saying how there's certain guys I don't mind taking in a best ball draft because I don't have to worry about when they're going to pop. When they do pop, I will get the results. They'll be one of my higher scoring players in the week. I don't want the headache of, do I start that player? Do I not every week? So I don't have that luxury here because this is not a best ball draft. So I need to be cognizant of that. But so you guys know, again, This is a PPR league, but it's 1.5 for tight ends, and we've got a quarterback, two running backs, two wide receivers. We've got a tight end, we've got a kicker, we've got a defense, and then we've got two flexes, and we can flex the tight end. All in all, it is 20 rounds, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So that should be fun as we go through here. Let me see this. Yeah, 20 rounds. And we're about 3 minutes out. So I'll share the screen once we get rolling. This way you guys can follow along. We'll talk about some of the picks. Again, our resident troll ATL is picking third here. So we'll troll him like he would troll us. He'll probably say something stupid at some point about Justin Herbert because I have him ranked as my 18th quarterback, which you can find those rankings on X at the FF Realist. I will be picking at pick 11. When you draft alone, when you're podcasting alone, sometimes you need to stop for a sip. So I will stop for said sip, and then we'll get rolling. But yeah, let me see this here. What do we got? We've got 2 minutes. By the way, if you are new to watching this, appreciate you guys. Please feel free to give it a like. Please hit the subscribe button. Helps us out immensely. Takes very little time out of your day to do so, but helps us out a lot. So we would appreciate that. Again, we will be putting out more and more content as we go, including our start and sit shows on Sunday. I'm going to be looking to try and do some DFS stuff on Saturdays, potentially try and gear up for winning some money that way. Love me some DFS. Mainly do DraftKings. I'm going to be looking forward to doing some of my return on investment stuff. That was always a good time. Tracking how much a player costs on a per week basis, how many points are they scoring. DraftKings ultimately does bump up that price. So do we get to a ceiling where they are no longer out kicking their coverage? The cost is not worth it. The juice is not worth the squeeze, yada, yada, yada. I can use all the different phrases and whatever the hell I want, but whatever. We are a minute out, and I will share this screen right meow as we get ready to get going. Again, I'm picking in the 11th spot. This is not a best ball draft. This is not a drill. This is a real deal draft. This will count. FFPC is a very cool spot. They've got a nice, clean app you can use as well. This is obviously the desktop we've got up here. But yeah, I do enjoy FFPC. It is a nice little high stakes. Got into it thanks to one Anthony Servino, of course, and obviously Steve D'Angelo, big into this as well. I'm sure at some point he does plenty on his channel. I'll put his channel in the comments. This way you guys can give him a follow if you're not already, which you should be. But yeah, so I'm sure between that channel and over here, we'll get Steve involved in some FFPC. I know that once I have him in here, it's going to be a little bit more than $35 probably, but that's okay. So we'll take care of that. And we are less than 10 seconds out. So I will go back to sharing the screen shortly. Jamie says, never tried FFPC. If you say it's high stakes, then I'm too broke for it. Well, again, yeah, but it is high stakes, but they do also have, they do have the $35 that you can do. So, which is what we've got here. So it's not terrible. Yes, it does escalate from there. Things do get pretty hairy. But yeah, you should try it out, Jamie. Or at the very least, just go take a look around. It's like being at a store. You don't have to buy something. Just, download the app or go on the desktop version and take a look, see what you see. We are now rolling. Team punishment better not time out because that's our resident troll ATL. That would be typical. The one guy in here that I know that's drafting would be missing the draft, but he's got about 40 seconds left. No surprise here. Even in a tight end premium draft, we've got Jahmyr Gibbs and Bijan Robinson, the first two players off the board. Yeah, that ought to be obvious. So there you go. So we've got that. And yeah, looks like he's only got there you go. Puka Nacua. He takes Puka Nacua. Somebody's been reading some of the spreadsheets that I sent him on SFB, but good for him. Puka Nacua off the board. Again, we've got one quarterback, two running backs, two wide receivers, a tight end. We've got two flexes that can consist of a tight end. We've got a kicker and a defense. All in all, 20 rounds. And this is not a best ball. This is you've got to set your lineups every single week. But again, it's nice on FFPC. I recommend it to everybody trying it out. I'm gonna make this a little bit smaller so we're not blinded. I should make that a black screen, honestly. I gotta take a look at that. Um, Jamie's asking, does Bowers go around pick 8 in these? Yeah, potentially. I mean, all these drafts are their own animal, but yeah, I mean, primarily when you're talking about, when I say that you can flex a tight end on top of it being a PPR league, it's a point and a half per reception for the tight end position. So, yeah, I mean, we should see a tight end. I would be surprised if we don't see a tight end go in the first round. I would be very surprised. So there we go. And yeah, our resident troll ATL said, don't forget to like the show. Yes, please like the show. Please subscribe. Helps us out immensely. We've got 5 likes so far. We'll take that. And Jamie, you asked about does Bowers go around pick 8? Well, he went around pick 7. He went pick 7 exactly. Draft started off Jahmyr Gibbs, Bijan Robinson, Puka Nacua, Jamar Chase, then Christian McCaffrey, Jackson Smith and Jigba, and then Brock Bowers goes. First tight end off the board. Amon-Ra St. Brown goes after him. That is pick number 8. We now have pick 9, pick 10. Then I will be up, and then Helter Skelter. I'm just going to scroll up here. Don't mind me. I want to see if I can make this screen black. No? You guys don't want me to do that? No? All right. Well, we're dealing with a white screen, folks. I guess that's a strike against FFPC. Jonathan Taylor goes off the board as the RB, the 9th pick overall. He is the 4th RB taken in this draft. By the way, they were saying this week there were some rumblings that they could lighten the workload for Jonathan Taylor. They're not. I was talking to Pete about this last night via text. I mean, guys like Christian McCaffrey, guys like Jonathan Taylor, there's a big difference between saying in April or May or even July that, hey, we want to lighten the guy's workload. Big difference between saying that then and saying it in the fall, saying it in September or October, November, December. Big difference. I am now on the clock. Let me see this here. Pick number 11. James Cook did go just before me. And if I'm picking here, you know what? Tight end premium. Let me see if I can click on this boy. Let's go with Trey McBride as my first pick in this draft. Get a tight end out of the way. It is a tight end premium, so I'm going to try and let you know what it looks like when you go with a Trey McBride in the first round of a tight end premium. Again, point and a half per reception. So I will enjoy those happy returns. Around 160 or so targets last year. I know I referenced this yesterday on the show. I know, when you draft Jeremiah Love, when you bring in Tyler Algier, when James Conner is still there, it's a bit of a crowded running back room. So I don't think that they are going to have the lowest run percentage in the NFL like they did last year, that being the Arizona Cardinals. I still think Trey McBride gets fed plenty, even if he's not getting his 160 so targets. I'm not worried at all. So, but I am worried because I am on the clock. Not worried, just I need to be prepared. The first round did end with ended with Ashton Genty at the 12th pick, and then the first pick of the second round was Chase Brown, one of the more underrated running backs in fantasy. So I am now on the clock. And I'm going to go with a wide receiver here. Let's roll the dice on running back. Let's see what happens. Let's get frisky. I'm going with CeeDee Lamb as my wide receiver off the board. Like him a lot this year, especially when I'm getting him to start the second round. I mean, a lot of times when you're in a league that's not tight end premium, CeeDee Lamb's the first round pick. So I will take that, and I will laugh all the way, hopefully to the bank on that one. Jamie says, are you going to the expo next weekend? I will be there. No, sorry, Jamie, I will not be there. I apologize. Had a lot of stuff going on. Don't worry about it. All good. But, had a lot of stuff going on. So scheduling, so on and so forth. Also, get some tattoo appointments lined up. So, just wasn't in the cards this year, but it is always a great time. I would say if anybody's watching this and is ever debating going to that, it's a fantastic spot to go to. Get to go to the Hall of Fame. I went there a couple of years ago with Pete. Got to listen to Pete and his dad argue in the car nonstop, which was a good time. The apple does not fall far from the tree, but that's not always a bad thing. But it was a great time. Get to meet a lot of people you talk to on Twitter all the time, on X, whatever the hell you want to call it. Finally, you get to be face to face with these people. You get to draft with them. You get to know them. So it's very cool. It's almost like a home away from home. So I would definitely recommend it to everybody that's thinking about going or thinking about getting into the fantasy football space. As I read off some of the second round here, please feel free to like the show. Helps me out immensely. Let's go with this now. We've got so the second round went Chase Brown, CeeDee Lamb, who I took. And then we have Justin Jefferson, Omarion Hampton, Drake London, Devon Achane. And then we are up with we are up the seventh pick in the sixth round, seventh pick in the second round. There you go. I got my shit together. I was thinking because Devon Achane, some people are worried about touchdowns as far as the Dolphins. Obviously, the Dolphins are projected to be one of the worst teams in the NFL, but this shouldn't be a surprise because they're they are basically rebuilding. Even though they're keeping Achane around, which they should. That's a good thing. They traded Jalen Waddle on St. Patrick's Day, mind you, as I was getting ready to march in the parade. But point being is, making a long story long here, I'm not worried about Achane in terms of touchdowns. We've seen plenty of running backs be on bad teams that have produced for fantasy. It's not exactly a death sentence to be a talented running back on a bad team when you're in fantasy football. Um, Uncle Piff says hello. Hello, sir. How are you? Hope you're doing well, my man. Please feel free to like the show. But yeah, so I'm not worried about Achane. So to me, I was actually debating CeeDee Lamb or him. So not surprised that he goes just a few picks later. After him goes Saquon Barkley, who I think bounces back. No more Kevin Patullo, thank God. Colston Loveland. So we see the third tight end off the board, which, by the way, I referenced it on yesterday's show. I've seen some people on X and on podcasts that are prepared or are already ranking Colston Loveland ahead of Trey McBride for the 2026 season. I think it's a bold strategy, Cotton, but I mean, I can't knock it too hard. I'm not prepared to do it. But be that as it may, Colston Loveland is gaining steam as we head towards the draft. The draft weeks coming up. Obviously, August is a big draft time. As I go on here, Derrick Henry goes after Colston Loveland, then goes Tyler Warren to our resident troll ATL. Kenneth Walker goes with the second to last pick in the second round. And then we see the final pick of the second round, A.J. Brown, and then Nico Collins right after that. So I love that start from team number one, Jahmyr Gibbs, A.J. Brown, Nico Collins. Team two is a little bit interesting, going running back, with their first three picks, Bijan Robinson, Kenneth Walker, Kyron Williams. I mean, I don't hate the strategy, but I'm curious to see how it works out when you're in a PPR league that's also tight end premium. But we'll see. He's got two starting running backs, and he's got one hell of a flex right there. After that, team number three goes with Jeremiah Love. Jeremiah Love, I do love, but I will say I do think the beginning of the season could be a little bit frustrating, but I think he's going to be one of those players that all of a sudden will take off a few weeks into, no, I wouldn't. Mid-season sounds a little too extreme, sounds a little too long. But I do think that he will eventually get rolling. I just think that, again, it's a crowded running back room. And I mean, James Conner, say what you will. I know it's, people hate him now probably because he's getting a little old on the birth certificate there. So people are naturally going to wish for his demise in fantasy football. That's how this community works. But they did sign Tyler Algier as well. So I just think there's going to be a lot of people getting fed, as well as the rookie getting acclimated to the NFL scene. But I do think once they decide to just focus on Jeremiah Love, he's just going to take off. He's just too talented of a player. So he goes with the third pick in the third round. After that goes Breece Hall. So we'll see if we get a little bit of a running back run here, which is interesting for me because I do have to take a running back eventually. I started off my team with Trey McBride and CeeDee Lamb. Right now, if I'm looking at running backs, you're looking at Travis Etienne, Josh Jacobs, Javonte Williams, Cam Scatterboo, backflip and all, David Montgomery, Quinshon Judkins. So I'm either going to go running back here, or I'm going to go with a different position and then a running back. But one running back will be taken with my third or fourth round pick. That is for sure. After Brees Hall, we see some wide receivers go off the board. George Pickens, Devonta Smith, and then Rashee Rice. Hopefully, if Rashee Rice can just stay the hell out of trouble. I mean, if he could stay out of trouble, if he could stay healthy, he's going to get a very large target share. We saw what Rashee Rice did when he came back to the Chiefs after the suspension, before the injury. Disaster of a season for the Chiefs, but I think this could be nice for Rashee Rice as long as he can not keep his head firmly stuck up his ass. I think we could see a very plentiful fantasy football season from him. After Rashee Rice goes Javonte Williams. So there's a running back. Team 9 is up on the clock. He's got 2 running backs already, that being Jonathan Taylor or Marion Hampton, and he does go with a wide receiver. He goes Chris Olave. I am 1 pick away, so I'll put the screen back on the board for you guys. I just feel bad keeping it up there the whole damn time because it's white. It's like painful to look at. Anyway, I had to check in the settings later on if I can make that dark mode, but there wasn't on the screen here. I already tried. Oh, I could shoot them an email. I'll shoot them an email. Anyway, Team 10 is on the clock, 40 seconds left. He's got James Cook and Justin Jefferson thus far. Then I will be up, and I have Trey McBride and CeeDee Lamb. As I already referenced, I will be taking a running back with one of these picks. I think that if I want to not take a running back, see, Zay Flowers goes off the board here. That's a solid pick. Yeah. So considering that Team 12, the team picking after me, has 2 running backs, if I want to go a different, let me see this. If I want to go with a position that's not running back, I should do it here. You know what? I'm going to get real frisky. I know this is a draft here where, this isn't a mock draft. This is a real deal draft. So I'm not doing this strategy to be wild. I really think a team like this could win. I'm getting some serious pillars here. I'm going to go quarterback. I'm going to go Josh Allen. I will take him with my 3rd round pick. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I kind of like that start. Trey McBride, CeeDee Lamb, Josh Allen. We'll see how the rest of this shakes out. Probably got to go running back here. Because we've got some teams here. I mean, teams are pretty good at running back. Yeah, no, Michael. We're not flirting with that. Anyway, while we wait for Team 12, Jamie pops in and says, dang, I just got sniped in Scott Fishbowl. Round 20. Wanted Justin Jolly, but he went ahead of me. Wow, round 20. Because I'm in New York and I'm doing the live draft, we don't draft until, I believe, August 1st, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, I still got a ways to go here. Currently isn't built in dark mode toggle for the draft room. FFPC's mobile app supports light and dark mode, but that setting doesn't carry over to the browser. Well, there we go, Jamie. I will have to put it in their suggestion box. I did gamble, and I didn't take a running back, and Team 12 went ahead and took 2 running backs. So he starts off with 4 running backs. Thank you very much for that, kind sir. For my first running back, I mean, yes, Alvin Kamara will be a thorn in his side, but I will go with Travis Etienne. Honestly, looking back now, would I have gone with Josh Jacobs instead of Josh Allen? I probably could have done that. I could have swapped out the Joshes there, but whatever. We're gonna roll with this. We just know that running back is not going to be my strong suit. I mean, when you draft these teams, you get a sense of, like when you do the first 2, 3, 4 rounds, you now know how you need to proceed with the rest of your draft. So running backs are not going to be my strong suit, but that's okay, as Macho Man would say. I do have so far Trey McBride, CeeDee Lamb, Josh Allen, Travis Etienne. To remind folks, this is a PPR league, but it's a 1.5 for tight ends, and you could flex tight ends. So it's important to keep in mind. But what's interesting is Team 12. I already discussed, I already mentioned that I gambled with Josh Allen in the late 3rd round, thinking that Team 12 would maybe take a running back, but would want to get some other positions. he starts off with 4 running backs: Ashton Genty, Chase Brown, Josh Jacobs, Cam Scatterboo. So, um, to me, I mean, we're starting 2 running backs here, and we do have 2 flexes, but, I mean, are we putting ourselves in a position then where we're going to start 4 running backs every single week? Because you're gonna start 2 wide receivers. It's a PPR league. I would think you would want more I think you would want wide receivers in that flex spot, or at least one of them. So it's going to be interesting to see how he rotates that. Or maybe it's also, what if Cam Scadaboo gets hurt? God forbid. Josh Jacobs, I think the legal trouble's gone, but I mean, whatever, that could come back. Or any one of these guys can get hurt. I mean, so whatever. It's an insurance policy, but I just think it's interesting when he's going to be putting together his starting lineup from a week to week basis. But anyway, so we do see, starting with the 4th round, Cam Scatterboo, Travis Etienne go off the board. Then we see a couple wide receivers. We see Lad McConkey with the 3rd pick in the 4th, Emeka Ikbuka, Garrett Wilson with the 5th pick in the 4th. Then DJ Moore, who, I didn't think he was going to come back, but in a perfect world, I would have loved for him to come back to stack with Josh Allen, but that's okay. DJ Moore goes off the board with the 6th pick in the 4th round. So we got a little run of wide receivers here. We'll see what it looks like when it gets back to my way. And I just got a notification that the Mets hit a 2-run home run, but that's okay because they'll fuck it up later because that's what they do best. Anyway, wrong sport. David Montgomery goes off the board with the 7th pick in the 4th round. That team 6 has JSN, Saquon Barkley, Devonta Smith, David Montgomery. Very solid roster. I like David Montgomery this year, to be quite honest with you. And not bad for a second running back. So there you go, to pair up with Saquon Barkley. We've got team 5 goes with Tedero McMillan to pair up with George Pickens at wide receiver. Fuzzy Foreigner, team number 4 with the 9th pick in the 4th round. This is interesting. I have a sneaky suspicion that Fuzzy Foreigner is going to be gunning for Joe Burrow at some point because he has Jamar Chase and he has T. Higgins. So he's got both Bengals wide receivers sandwiched in between there are running backs Derrick Henry and Breece Hall. I like that start. I especially like it if he can get Joe Burrow. Have to hope Joe Burrow can stay healthy, of course. After T. Higgins, we see the new Denver Bronco, Jalen Waddle, then DeAndre Swift, who always seems to finish in the top 24. And so we've got 2 teams here, team 12 and team 2. Both start off a tight end premium league with 4 running backs. So interesting. And team number 1 here drafted Jahmyr Gibbs to start, and then with 4 straight wide receivers, A.J. Brown, Nico Collins, Terry McLaurin, who ought to bounce back, and then Malik Neighbors. I mean, are you worried about Malik Neighbors if you're taking him as your 1st or 2nd wide receiver? Sure. But when you're taking him as your 4th, that tells me that, you can kind of wait. You can wait and see what happens with him, and that'll be okay. So I like that a lot. We see our first team to take 2 tight ends. Just to recap, though, I did mention Neighbors goes with the 1st pick in the 5th. Bashaw Tootin, who I'm a little iffy on, goes with the 2nd pick in the 5th round. And then with the 3rd pick of the 5th round, let me get my words out and not spit all over the goddamn microphone. Kyle Pitts goes off the board. So Tyler Warren and Kyle Pitts off the board here. Looks like a bye week, week 13 for Tyler Warren, bye week 11 for Kyle Pitts. So that's nice, not doubling up in the bye weeks there. So yeah, tight end premium. Let's get it. After that, we see Mike Evans go off the board, 4th pick of the 5th round. That is his 3rd wide receiver here. Then Quinshon Judkins goes off the board. It's team 6. I am about 5 picks away, going to strategize what I'm going to do next. While I strategize and think about it a little bit, Harold Fanning goes off the board, the 1st tight end to team 6. Feel free to like this show, please. Helps us out immensely. Like and subscribe if you're not subscribed. Going to be putting out more and more content, getting you ready for draft season. Looking very much forward to it. Drafting some winners. This right here, who, in case you guys haven't been watching, it's a $35 entry on FFPC. 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers. We've got 2 flex spots. We've got a tight end, a kicker, and a defense. 20 rounds in all. Bucky Irving goes with the 7th pick of the 5th round. And we've got a question from Jamie. Who do you think has a better year, Hampton or Genty? I think O'Marion Hampton has the better year. I mean, I think both finish fairly close to one another. I don't think one is light years ahead of the other. I just think that the Chargers are going to run the ball more, and that kind of shows in my ranking of Justin Herbert. I just think, obviously, as long as the offensive line stays healthy, and we know Hampton was banged up during the year as well. If those things happen, the offensive line's better. We saw a career high in rush attempts and rushing yards from Justin Herbert. He might not need to run the ball as much, might not need to pass the ball as much. I think the ball can go into Hampton's hands. I think he does a little more damage for fantasy than Ashton Genty. But really, I mean, I also in saying that, I say I think they finished within a few spots of one another. So it's not like one's blowing the other one out of the water. Like if Genty finishes ahead of Hampton, I'm not going to be like, I did not expect that. But we might have our first timed out drafter here. Yes. All right. Team number 9 timed out. But he did end up getting Luther Burton. So he now has Jonathan Taylor or Marion Hampton, who we just discussed, Chris Olave, Emeka Ibuka, and then Luther Burton. I am one pick away. Team 10 is on the clock. They have themselves one running back and then 3 wide receivers. So we'll see what they do here. And let me see this. Yeah, we're getting thin at running back. My goodness. All right. Well, while this happens here, I should be on the clock shortly. I think I'm going to go wide receiver here. Yeah. Jadarian Price goes. That's another running back off the board. I am spreading it thin at running back. I'm going to go. I know it's a PPR league, but I do at this point, I will take the home run hitting ability, as in touchdown scoring. I will take that in the form of Devontae Adams to pair up with CD Lamb as my second wide receiver. Team 12 is on the clock. Let's see if he goes with more running backs. No, he finally takes a different position, takes tight end Tucker Kraft, whom I debated in that spot, but that's all right. Am I going to completely punt running back here? Let me see this. What do we have here? No, I think cooler heads can prevail here. You know what? I'm going to go with the solid. When you say his name, it's super unsexy for fantasy, but he does get 1,000 yards pretty often, and I think he's going to get the bulk of the work out there. I'm going to go Tony Pollard of the Tennessee Titans. Different bye week from Travis Etienne, so that helps me as well. So, yeah, we'll go with that. Listen, it's not the sexiest pick. My 6th round pick, I should say. Not the sexiest pick, but I will take Tony Pollard when I start my team with only one running back in the first 5 rounds. So there we go. ATL Mikey, our resident troll, says, would you be able to review my team once draft is complete, please? I guess so. I guess we could do that for you. As long as you hit the like button, which obviously I know you already did. No, yeah, sure. We'll take a look at it. I mean, I'll be commenting on it through the draft anyway. I mean, his team, just so folks know, he is Team Punishment. I guess I should be worried since his name is Team Punishment. But started off with Puka Nacua. He's got the 3rd overall pick. Puka Nacua, Tyler Warren, Jeremiah Love, Jalen Waddle, and then Kyle Pitts. I do like it. Like taking advantage of the tight ends there. So, but yeah, we'll periodically check in on that team over there. After I took Tony Pollard, Lamar Jackson goes off the board. Only the second quarterback to go off the board in the first 6 rounds. We'll see if we start to get a little bit of run here at the quarterback position. But I do like that for Team 10, taking Lamar Jackson, pairing him up with Zay Flowers. So I always like when you can get yourself a nice little solid stack. I'm not going to have a nice little solid stack unless I do. And, whatever. I'm drafting with people who could be listening. Whatever. It's fine. At best at this point with Josh Allen, I would stack him with a Dalton Kincaid if I really wanted to get a stack for Josh Allen, but it's not necessary. Like it's important to remember it's cool to get stacks, especially in best ball, but you also don't have to be like I must get a stack, and then therefore you take a shitty player you don't like. I'm gonna hate myself if I draft Keon Coleman at some point. I will probably curse myself out on this draft. So maybe I should do it just for clicks. I'm just kidding. I don't really do that sort of thing. But yeah, so basically, moral of the story is long story long. Stack, but don't stack at your peril. Don't die by that sword. Um, we did see Drake May go after Lamar Jackson with the fourth pick of the sixth round. Then Christian Watson, who somebody on Twitter said that Christian Watson was going to have a JSN type of year. And I do have a stipulation on that. I will read that off to you shortly on that. Where is that? That's where if you're the 13th person to repost this post on X at the FF Realist, you can get a shot at my pension, because I said if Christian Watson has a JSN breakout type of season, say 1,500 plus yards and 10 touchdowns or more in 2026, I will delete my account, shave my head, get a barbed wire tattoo, stop bathing, quit my job, join a barbershop quartet, which I thought was random and humorous, and I will donate my pension to the 13th person who reposts that post. So that's currently only got 2 reposts. So I imagine once we get to 10, people are going to start really looking at that sort of thing. I did reference this earlier, and I think it's fantastic. Um, team number 4, Fuzzy Foreigner, started off his team with Jamar Chase in the first round, took T. Higgins in the fourth round, and then sealed the deal in the sixth round, drafting Joe Burrow. Absolutely love that. If Joe Burrow, which is always the big if with Joe Burrow, but if Joe Burrow stays healthy, by God, that's going to be a lot of fantasy points there for Fuzzy Foreigner. Love that strategy if it works out, of course. I mean, it's kind of how it works. It's just like NFL coaches, like when they call a play, if the play works, they're a genius. If the play doesn't, then they're an idiot. So we'll see. But I like that start. I'm a tad jealous. Tad jealous. Team Punishment is now on the clock. That's our resident troll ATL, and he did ask. I will minimize that for a second. He did ask, "What's your thoughts of Scadaboo's antics this past weekend? Do you remove him from your draft list?" No, I don't remove him from my draft list. No, he's I, Cam Scadaboo on Sunday afternoon, as of this recording, is the same Cam Scadaboo I thought he was on Saturday morning before he did the backflip at Fanatics. He's an idiot. He's an idiot. He reminds me of what was that? The '04 Red Sox? Is that the Red Sox that won the World Series that year when they broke the curse? Like, just an idiot, but probably a lot of fun. Great locker room guy. You'd love to have, but probably a lot of laughs. Probably great for team morale. But end of the day, he's an idiot. But no, I'm not taking him off my board. Honestly, if he didn't get taken there with the first pick in the fourth round, I probably would have gone Cam Scadaboo as my first running back with the second pick of the fourth round. Instead, I went with Travis Etienne. So no, I'm not taking him off my board. And listen, I'm sure John Harbaugh, or I'm sure Cam's agent or somebody is gonna say, Cam, let's can we not do that? Maybe. And actually this will be all over Twitter. Cam Scadaboo is actually he's talking to Mike Wright of the Fantasy Footballers. I believe Jason Moore is there as well. They were interviewing Jackson Dart and Cam Scadaboo, and Cam kind of downplayed the whole thing and said it's not really a big deal. So no, I'm not taking him off my draft boards, but it's just a reaffirmation that he is an idiot. And that's okay. Anyway, let's go through. I kind of lost track here of some of these picks. The sixth round win, Jamison Williams. I took Tony Pollard. Then we saw 3 quarterbacks in the sixth round. Started with Lamar Jackson, Drake May. Then we go Christian Watson, Michael Pittman, who I like this year, Jalen Warren, Rome Odunze, then Joe Burrow, who's paired up with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. That's dangerous. We got another rookie going to team number 3 in Carnell Tate. Don't hate that. Alec Pierce, the well-paid, I don't know why he's so well-paid, but he goes to team 2, who started off their squad with 4 running backs. We'll get to that one a little bit later. Sam Laporta goes off the board, then DK Metcalf, then Chris Godwin, Rico Dowdle, and then George Kittle to Fuzzy Foreigner, who I think I referenced this yesterday on the show. I think George Kittle's ready by week 2 or week 3. I don't think they play him week 1 since they're playing in Australia. Who knows, though? I mean, the guy's deadlifting God knows how much weight, and he's already got cleats on. He's moving around. Listen to him on the Kelsey's podcast, and, all signs point to George Kittle being ready right away. I just don't think they play him in week 1 since they're playing in Australia. But anyway, Marvin Harrison goes off the board with the 5th pick of the 7th round. I am 5 picks away. I gotta say, I gave shout out to Fuzzy Foreigner. I'm not in love with Team 2, especially the last 3 rounds. I mean, my running backs aren't exactly stacked. His are. He started off with Bijan Robinson, Kenneth Walker, Kyron Williams, DeAndre Swift, Bashaw Tootin. So started off this draft with 5 running backs. Wait, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, Michael, you can count. Good for you, buddy. Started off his team with 5 running backs. Then he went with Alec Pierce, who I know he's going to get a ton of targets, but just especially with no more Michael Pittman there. I don't know, man. As my first wide receiver, whatever. Chris Godwin is that's not a whatever. I just don't like Alec Pierce this year, even though I have some shares. Hypocrite warning. Chris Godwin is his second wide receiver, whom I will say I think he's going to do better than people think. I think people are just focusing on Emeka Ibuka and no more Mike Evans, and they're just assuming what this is his. He's gonna take all the targets. I mean, Chris Godwin's still gonna get a decent amount of targets there, in Tampa. So, whatever. I just as my second wide receiver, I don't know. I'm a little iffy. Anyway, after Chris Godwin went Rico Dowdle, George Kittle, Marvin Harrison. Then we see another quarterback, Jaden Daniels, go off the board. Ramondre Stevenson, Travis Kelsey. So we're starting to get a little bit low on the tight ends here, which is crazy to say after Travis Kelsey's been drafted, but that's where we are in Travis Kelsey's career. Still a solid contributor, but not that top tier anymore. We have 2 more picks, and then I am up. So I am going to take a look at what I want to do here, and I'll read off my team in a minute. Ooh. Yeah, I think I'm going tight end here. We'll see how these next 2 picks shake out. If it would be hilarious if the 2 tight ends I want are come off the board here. I do have Trey McBride already, and we're referencing tight ends quite a bit because if you're just joining us, this is a PPR league, but not only can you flex tight end, we have 2 flex spots, but tight ends are 1.5 per reception. So it's extra juicy with tight ends. So we do see Brian Thomas go off the board with the 9th pick in the 7th round. It's going to be interesting to see him this year. Fantastic rookie season, disastrous sophomore campaign. Parker Washington is just hanging around there. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with Brian Thomas. And also, of course, you'll get a little sprinkle of Travis Hunter. Now, that'll be interesting. I mentioned this yesterday. I drafted Travis Hunter in the best ball draft because reason being I didn't have to worry about when was he going to pop. When he pops, he'll be in my lineup and I'll benefit for it. I'm not going to ride with that here in this format because this one here is a classic draft. So I've got to set a lineup every single week. I'm never going to feel confident putting Travis Hunter into my lineup. At least I don't feel that way. After Brian Thomas goes Jordan Tyson, the rookie for the New Orleans Saints, 10th pick of the 7th round. I am now up. I am going tight end. And although I like Isaiah Likely, I'm going to go Dallas Goedert in this spot. No more A.J. Brown. Dallas Goedert was already getting a sizable target share with the Philadelphia Eagles. I will ride with Dallas Goedert here as my second tight end. Then we see, I referenced him earlier, Parker Washington goes off the board at the end of the 7th. Then goes Cortland Sutton. I am now on the clock, and I have no idea what I'm going to do, so I'm going to ask you to hold on 1 second. This would be if I had a podcast partner, I would kick it to them, or I would play elevator music. I can't do either, so we're just going to go here. I'm going to get another wide receiver. I don't have a ton of shares of them. Do I want to do that? No, I don't want to do that, actually. Pivot. We're going to pivot, and I'm not going to tell you who I'm taking because I don't want anybody else to take him. Shit. You know what? Hmm. Let's go with another tight end. Screw it. Let's go Isaiah Likely. There we go. Now I'm telling myself, basically at this point, we are in round 8. I am saying I no longer need to draft a tight end unless it's like just super late rounds and I just take a flyer on somebody. Trey McBride, Dallas Goedert, Isaiah Likely. I can make a case that all three of those are top 12 tight ends this year in PPR. Yeah. And I don't think anybody should scoff at that because everybody always wanted Isaiah Likely to kick Mark Andrews out of Baltimore. Mark Andrews is still there. Isaiah Likely is not. Goes with John Harbaugh out to New Jersey to be with the Giants. I won't call them New York because I'll just be insulting to Giants fans. But yes, I think all three of those tight ends could finish top 12. I think even Trey McBride and I think Goddard could be a top 5 tight end. Could be. And when I say top 5, I mean he is number 5. He's not 2 or 3. He's 5, but I think that's there. So this will be interesting how I finish out the rest of this draft. My draft here, I'm team 11, Trey McBride, CeeDee Lamb, Josh Allen, Travis Etienne, Devontae Adams, Tony Pollard, Dallas Goedert, Isaiah Likely. My next picks here in the late 9th and early 10th round are going to be, some combination of wide receiver and running back, or both of one position. We shall see. Probably not, because I kind of want to get a little bit of both. But like running backs that just went off after I took Isaiah Likely, and we have some comments here in the chat. We'll get to them in a minute. Feel free to hit the like button and feel free to comment, and I will pull it up on the air. But to me, it was like after I took Isaiah Likely, this is why I went with Likely. You see guys like Jonathan Brooks. I could have taken Dalton Kincaid actually, but I like Likely. I wanted shares. But like running backs like Jonathan Brooks and Chuba Hubbard went off the board there. I mean, do I need another running back? Obviously. Would one of those running backs be fine? Sure. But are there other running backs below them that I'm looking at in a PPR setting? Yes. So that's why I just said, screw it. Let's just shore up tight end, and then we'll circle back on running backs. I will update the 8th round here. We're up to the 9th pick of the 8th round, but I want to get to some of these. Jamie says, I think Likely is going too early considering he never had a full snap share. Plus, Theo Johnson could split snaps. Yep. No, I totally get it. And I would be more worried about that if he were my first tight end. But him being my third tight end, and a lot of the headlines I see in terms of what's going on there with the Giants is Jackson Dart and Isaiah Likely have built quite a connection. So, and we say it a lot. What's a young quarterback's best friend? It's the tight end. So, yeah, I don't think Isaiah Likely is going to get every single tight end target for the Giants. I don't think that's realistic. Theo Johnson will swoop in there every now and again for sure, but I'll take Likely as my third tight end. But to your point, Jamie, if he was my number 1 tight end, yeah, I would that would be a little more cause for concern for me. So you're right, but in this situation, I'm okay. ATL says Pete's first 3 picks in SFB: Gibbs, London, Herbert. Is that confirmed? Is that real? Is that for real? For real? We'll see if Pete jumps back in this chat. But all right. Maybe ATL is following Pete's draft. I believe it's the Fantasy Life app or site that is monitoring all the SFB things. Resident Troll ATL, much like me, we are not starting our SFB draft until August. What is that? August 1st, Saturday at Legends in New York City. Definitely come on down. I will be there, obviously, because I just said that out loud. But yeah, it'll be a good time. It's always a good time. This would be my 4th or 5th year drafting live. I forget, but it's a great time. It's always cool to see certain people. You only see them once a year. You see them at the draft. You see them all year on Twitter. So it's kind of cool to just circle back and talk to some of the boys and the gals, and yeah, it's a good time talking fantasy football, having some drinks. I mean, what's not to love? Anyway, So let's get into this here. I mean, you guys can follow along on the board. Let me pull the board back up. You guys can stop looking at my face, at least so prominently, so big. Um, Let me see. We are up to we have seen some tight ends go off the board here. We are now up to the sixth pick of the ninth round. I am up in 5 picks. I always get to this team and say I'm up in 5 picks. It's the third time I've done that. Kenny Gainwell, who was a running back I was looking at, goes off the board there. I do like him in PPR formats. Just to update you guys, after Isaiah Likely, Jonathan Brooks, Dalton Kincaid, Chuba Hubbard, who I mentioned, Jalen Hurts goes off the board, Josh Downs, and then Rashad White, J.K. Dobbins, another running back I was into, Quentin Johnston. I didn't think Dobbins was going to come back. I thought Gainwell could. Wandell Robinson with the 11th pick of the 8th round. And then the 8th round ends and 9th round begins with 2 running backs, Kyle Monangai, Blake Corum. Everybody loves Blake Corum. I'm not going to have a ton of shares. I know he's going to get the work, but I think it's me being such a Kyron Williams truther. I have no problem admitting that I probably have some blinders on, and I want to just wish Blake Corum away. And I would rather have other running backs anyway. Michael Wilson goes off the board, second pick of the 9th round. RJ Harvey goes to our resident troll ATL. That's team number 3. We will we'll circle back on that and we'll comment on your team in a little bit. 2 tight ends after RJ Harvey, Jake Ferguson, Brenton Strange. Love me some Brenton Strange. Kenny Gainwell, as I mentioned, 6th pick of the 9th round. Then Matthew Golden. Mark Andrews follows him. I'm up in 2 picks. Packers wide receivers, man. Like, they're all good. Like, they're not scrubs. It's just like the Packers offense is they're not gonna have an alpha wide receiver. They're not gonna be like, um, you know, this is like they're not gonna have an AJ Brown type of guy who's gonna get a ton of targets or a JSN. That's why like somebody said Christian Watson's gonna have a JSN type of year, and I'm like, fuck out of here with that. Um, just even if a wide receiver is good enough to be that on the Green Bay Packers, the Packers will not construct their offense to showcase a wide receiver to that level. They just won't. So, whatever. I mean, you're getting Matthew Golden in the 9th round. Maybe I shouldn't be so hard on it, but I don't know. This will be at least the second year in a row where I am not gonna have a lot of Green Bay Packer wide receiver shares. Maybe in best ball, where again I've said it the third time now, I don't have to rely as much um, on them on a week to week basis. Just when they pop, they'll be there. Speaking of which, Jaden Reed goes off the board with the 9th pick of the 9th round. I am 1 pick away. Let me see this here. I'm taking a look here. Wow. Interesting. Very interesting. I will say, I'd love having Josh Allen. Makai Lemon, I should say, goes off the board, who is somebody I was looking to take right there. So that's typical. Yeah, I need to take a running back soon. I just lost my train of thought. Whatever, you guys remind me. I am going to take a while. Oh, geez, I don't want to do this. Oh God, they're putting me in a bad spot here. Officially tilting. Let's go running back here. And since I'm not a Bashaw Tootin believer, I'm going to go Chris Rodriguez here. I think Chris Rodriguez will do some damage in terms of the pass catching. I will take him. Then I'm going to look at wide receiver. Wide receiver right now, you're looking at names like Ricky Pearsall, Xavier Worthy, Jordan Addison, Jacoby Myers, KC Concepcion, Jaden Higgins. I mean, just like Ricky Pearsall. I love the guy. Obviously, you guys know, if you guys watch enough, you guys know I'm a diehard 49er fan. Whatever. He's not gonna be starting for me every single week. I guess we could just I'm gonna go on record and say and to everybody who says I'm a homer, I think I hate this pick more than any other pick I've made so far in this draft. I'm gonna go Ricky P. I'm gonna pray that he stays healthy. Jeez, I don't feel good about that pick at all. Yeah, this is officially me officially tilting, folks. Whatever. if he stays healthy, it's a fantastic pick, but I am heavily relying on my first two wide receivers, CD Lamb, Devontae Adams. Ricky Pearsall as my third wide receiver. It sounds frightening, but then when you figure in the fact that this is a 1.5 per reception for tight ends, so I've got three tight ends, it does make sense then that Ricky Pearsall winds up as my third wide receiver, because you have to focus on the other positions as well. Oh, that's where I lost my train of thought. I will say, as much as I'm happy about having Josh Allen, if I could have waited on quarterback, could have got like a Dak Prescott here in the 10th round. Um, Someone like that. Justin Herbert went off the board with the last pick of the, what was that, ninth round. So I could have done something. I probably would have done Dak instead of him, or Trevor Lawrence instead of Justin Herbert, because I have them ranked higher. Which again, you can check out my rankings at the FF Realist on X. We're using a site called Rank Forge. I'll start pumping that out because you guys can actually put together your own rankings. For those who like to comment on rankings, or for those who have ever thought about like what's that like doing my own rankings, you could do it at Rank Forge. It's there, available for anybody to use. It's easy to use too. Our very own Cronster, who's a big tech guy behind the scenes. He's good at all that stuff. He's been building that is his baby. So I'll put the link in the in the description or in the comments, and you guys can check that out at some point. But Jamie said, Jamie did follow up as per what ATL said, talking about Pete Nova, Mr. Supernova with 2 R's. That's how special he really is. Jamie, it is confirmed Pete's draft, his 4th pick was Zay Flowers. So Pete's SFB draft so far: Jahmyr Gibbs, Drake London, Justin Herbert, and then Zay Flowers. Not bad, Peter. Not bad. I mean, it's kind of making up for the fact that you're in such a lame Pokemon division, but whatever. Jamie just got accepted as a Fantasy Pros expert ranker this year. That's fantastic. If I can give you any advice, enjoy the ride. It will be euphoria if you ever get like a high ranking where they post like the top 10. You'll feel like you're on cloud 9 for that week. That said, doing your rankings can be a very humbling experience. It's a lot of fun though, but it can be very humbling. So keep that in mind. Don't get discouraged if you have a shit week. We all do. Sometimes we have too many of them. I tend to be better at draft rankings than a week-to-week basis. At one point, I was top 10 over a 3-year span. Kind of fallen a bit on that list, but still do better than a lot of others out there. But whatever, it's a great time. But again, to that point, you have to be ultimately accepted to go on to the Fantasy Pros expert rankings. This Rank Forge site I'm talking about, anybody could do it. So if you can't get onto Fantasy Pros, you could still rank, and you could see how things go. So again, I'll get that link here in a second, and I'll throw it in the chat for anybody who wants it. While you're in the chat, feel free to hit the like button. That helps us out immensely. We got a good number of people watching right now, from what I can tell. And yeah, slapping the like button doesn't hurt. Anyway, we are now headed into the 11th round. We just finished the 10th round. We'll comment on quarterback. Interesting. I should take a second quarterback actually soon. Yeah, I should do that actually, just in case. I mean, you have Josh Allen, but you never know. Anyway, all right. So I'm going to take a look here because I haven't really done a ton of this, looking around at what I want planned here. So I'm going to have a look here while this draft goes on. We do see Juwan Johnson. We're getting a little bit of a run to tight ends. Kenyon Sadiq makes me feel better about having. Oh, we're moving quick. Makes me feel better about having my 3 tight ends already. Xavier Worthy going to team number 4, or Fuzzy Foreigner, and then let me see here. I can go wide receiver here. I'm surprised Deebo Samuel's still out there. Honestly, he wasn't terrible last year. I mean, he's not 2021 Deebo Samuel, but I mean, the fact that he's still out there is just weird to me. And the longer he's out there, the more I feel like we could see a potential reunion in San Francisco at this point. I mean, Kyle Juszczyk and George Kittle have kind of been posting about it, joking around. that they have a place where Debo can stay. Um, but we'll see. Just interesting. I also think, though, I will just say if Debo goes back to the 49ers, I wouldn't expect him to be the Debo of old, especially in terms of fantasy production. He'll definitely be great for NFL purposes. For the 49ers, they can gadget him up and, certain spots if they want to try and spell Christian McCaffrey, which I think is easier said than done. But whatever. So we'll see what happens there. I just don't think he'd be huge for fantasy. I wouldn't then be like, oh my God, I need all the Debo shares. But I'd actually, for fantasy, I'd like to see him go somewhere else where wide receiver is a little more needy, or where I know he'd get more work, I should say. Jamie says my plan is to time travel to be the future and bring back a sports almanac, so I'll always be the top ranker. That's a solid plan. Less traveled approach, a little unorthodox, but definitely keep me posted. Let me know, because if that goes well, then I'll try it. Um, we've had two teams so far go back to back quarterbacks. I got to see what quarterbacks are looking like here, because I'm going to need a second quarterback. This isn't a super flex, but I would like to have a solid number two quarterback, just in case, and also for the bye week, of course. I'll have to double check Josh Allen's bye week. I am about 2 picks away. At this point, you guys have the draft board up, so you see as the picks are going. I'll just start highlighting some teams as opposed to just rifling off every single pick being made. I will go, you know, shit. I'm going to go wide receiver here coming up. 1 pick away. By the way, we're in round 11. We got to go till round 20. Try podcasting 20 rounds. That's fun. I'm kidding. I love hanging out with you guys. I have a wide receiver here. I'm going to go with KC Conception. Just went off the board. I'm debating right now between Stephon Diggs, who I feel like it's a matter of time before he's going to find a home somewhere. Can he just stay out of trouble, for God's sakes? You know what? For now, I'm going to go with a guy who does have a home. A.J. Brown's going to get the majority of the targets there in New England, but I will take Romeo Dobbs as my fourth wide receiver. Obviously, I'm going to be flexing a tight end every single week. I'm going to be starting, and then there goes Stephon Diggs with the last pick of the 11th round, so I wasn't completely off on that take. Rashid Shaheed follows him. Then I'm on the clock here. Let me see the quarterbacks that are available. You know what? Some teams have been doubling up. We got Bo Nix, Kyler Murray, Tyler Shuck, Baker Mayfield, Jordan Love, Malik Willis, Sam Darnold. Yeah, you know what? I'll roll the dice and wait on quarterback a little bit. I'm gonna go with a. Let me see this if I can go. Wanna? That's funny. Look like a fucking hypocrite. I said I didn't want to stack anybody else with the Bills besides DJ Moore or Dalton Kincaid, but I do see Khalil Shakir here. I do also see I have 15 seconds left to pick. You know what? Khalil Shakir. We'll take him. There you go. I lied. There you go. I did wind up taking a player not named DJ Moore and not named Dalton Kincaid to stack with my quarterback Josh Allen. We will take a quarterback here with my with the 13th or 14th rounder. I will take my second quarterback just so I know I'm done with that. And I'll go over my team in a second. We'll go over team 3 in a hot second. Jamie says, what do you think of Rachaad White going as the RB33? I think he can finish as a top 24, so I like his value. Yeah. I don't know if I would could he finish his top 24? He could. Would I sign off on it? Back end at best, I would say. But then again, I mean but when you're talking about him going off the board as the RB33 and the potential to finish as, to go ahead and finish as a top 24, that's a pretty large gap in terms of scoring at a position. So yeah, I don't hate that call. Yeah. I don't have a lot of Rachaad White. I have a few shares in best ball, not a ton. But no, I don't hate that take. I would just say if he does finish top 24, which I think is what you're pretty much saying as well, Jamie, is it's probably going to be more of the back end variety as opposed to higher end. Like that 13 to 24 range. I think it's more back towards 24. Yeah, I don't hate that call. Um, we do see a kicker go off the board because there are kickers in this draft. Brandon Aubrey goes off the board, fourth pick of the 12th round. Um, Jaden Higgins was a wide receiver I was debating before I went with Shakir. He goes off the board, sixth pick of the 12th round. Again, this draft is 20 rounds. As I read off my team so far, we've got quarterback, two running backs, two wide receivers. We've got a tight end. We've got two flexes. We've got a kicker. We've got a defense. We've got 20 roster spots in all. My roster as of right now, let me see this. I've got Josh Allen at quarterback. My running backs are Travis Etienne and Tony Pollard. There's also Chris Rodriguez. Again, I already established when I was taking Travis Etienne and Tony Pollard in the fourth and the sixth round. I had already stated that running back would not be my strong suit. Like you know the philosophy or the shape of your team as you start doing it. So I knew running back would be whatever. Wide receiver CD Lamb, Devontae Adams, roll the dice on Ricky Pearsall. Don't love it. Romeo Dobbs, Khalil Shakir. Really, the tight ends is where it's going to be for me. Trey McBride, which is a huge pick, first round pick. Dallas Goddard, and then Isaiah Likely. I'll bank on those tight ends producing for me with that 1.5 per reception. So this is FFPC. If anybody's interested, it is nice. This is only a $35 league, but you can do high stakes, and you can do whether it's best ball or this, where you have to set a lineup every single week. They have a ton of options. Definitely check it out. FFPC.com. Jamie says, "Aren't you the kicker guru? We start a kicker in my expo draft, so I'll have to follow your weekly kicker rankings." Yes, I am a bit of a kicker guru. Not a lot of other people were doing it, so I said, "Screw it, I'll do it." Yeah, I rank kickers on a week to week basis. I'll put out a video here on the Face Off channel of my favorite kickers for the week. I'll also have my top 12 kickers. Done pretty well with that the last 2 years. And yeah, I am a kicker guru. Yeah, we could say that. F it. I could puff my chest out and say I'm a kicker guru. I wouldn't have taken Brandon Aubrey in the 12th. Would have waited a little bit longer. But if there's a kicker worth taking first kicker off the board, it is in fact Brandon Aubrey. But yes, that's one of the many things to look forward to. I know a lot of people, if you follow Pete's defensive streamers and stuff, I know he's putting out some DST content. I don't know if it's going to make its way to this channel this year. Pete likes to be adventurous, try new things out, which I love for him, and I hope it works out. I think he's doing what was it called, the Substack or what have you. But if you follow him on X, and if you're not already, that's awkward, and you should do that because he does work his ass off when it comes to this stuff. At Supernova 38, those are 2 R's in super. That's just how super he really is. Give him a follow. He's probably got Anthony is pinned on his profile, which is good, and because we love Anthony. But yeah, you don't have to go too far down his page to find his defensive work. Yeah, DST matters for fantasy football. It absolutely does. 24 subs on his new Substack today. So yeah, definitely something for everybody to look into and get some DST help, and you'll have kicker help here. I will go over after I pick my 13th and 14th round pick. We'll talk about our resident troll ATL and his team and what's going on so far. I will just say, if you guys haven't already, please feel free to like and subscribe. Liking the show especially helps, especially for you guys who have been tuned in for most of the show. Helps the algorithm quite a bit, so it's greatly appreciated. I am 2 picks away. Let me see where I'm going to go here. I know I said I wanted to go with a quarterback soon, and I'm glad I waited actually, because after not taking a quarterback, 3 quarterbacks have gone off the board. Bo Nix, who I like, he's finished top 12 last 2 years. I think he could do it again this year as long as the ankle holds up, which, I mean, doesn't sound like it's gonna be a huge problem. Um, Kyler Murray goes after that. Kyler Murray went with the second pick in the 13th round. I like that pick as well. And then Tyler Shuck. I wanted to put Tyler Shuck in my top 12 so bad. I just couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. I wanted to, though. I wanted to get, frisky and do something crazy, but we have to do if we're to me, if I'm putting in rankings, I know some people do rankings to get clicks, and I get it. Got to put food on the table, whatever. You make money, the more clicks you get. But I also don't want to rank a player where I can't explain it. So that's why Tyler Shuck ultimately did not finish in my top 12, but I do love him this year. Um, that said, I want to double check. Always double check your bye weeks. Josh Allen and the Bills have a bye week of week 7. So do we want to take quarterback right now, or do we want to wait a little bit longer? I got 30 seconds here to figure this out. You know what? I'm going to go running back here. And I think ultimately Jeremiah Love is going to obviously run away with the job. But I do think early on in the first few weeks, we can see a guy like Tyler Algier get some touchdowns, maybe vulture some touchdowns from Love. So I'll take him late here, 13th round pick, late 13th round pick, take another running back. And running back is not going to be my strong suit. It's going to be working the wire and, just seeing what happens with the guys I have, but whatever. I will get a little bit of running back help there on the back end. And then next we will more than likely go quarterback unless something else catches my eye here. I am one pick away. Let me pull the draft board back up, actually. There we go. There's your draft board. We saw a wide receiver go off the board with the final pick of the 13th round. Now we're starting off the 14th round. Yeah, I think I can. I'm going to keep. No, you know what? Fuck it. We're going to roll dice and quarterback a little bit more. I'm going to take a wide receiver here. I know there's other names in front of them, but I mean, the Las Vegas Raiders do not have. They've got Brock Bowers, obviously, who's going to command the most targets. We know this, but they do have a wide receiver room, and somebody in that wide receiver room has to give some kind of consistent production. I think Trey Tucker is going to be one of those guys. I don't think now when I'm saying that, I'm not telling you, Trey Tucker is going to be on the front of every fantasy football magazine next year. No, but I just think he's going to be the kind of guy that when you look back, you're going to go, oh, Trey Tucker kind of flew by the radar. Sneaky 14th round pick. So I'll take Trey Tucker in that spot. So I'm really going to roll the dice on a second quarterback, but I also feel like when you have Josh Allen, you've given yourself the right to roll that dice on the quarterback. Anyway, so there you go. So I'll get to my team in a little bit. We will talk about Russian Troll ATL and his team because he's coming up here, and he also has a comment. I have the 109 pick in SFB. What are 3 players you would target with that pick? You know my answer there, ATL. The problem with SFB is those drafts are so damn different, man. I mean, your first round pick is all about what the 8 teams are doing in front of you. It's are you going to see quarterbacks go off the board in those first 8 picks? Are you going to see a slew of tight ends? And all those SFB drafts, for anybody who's familiar with SFB, it's like when I was doing yesterday's show, I believe, like the first 8 picks, I was saying like those are the 8 picks, and in any kind of different variation, those are the 8 picks that you're looking at. Starting off your first round. SFB is completely different. So honestly, dude, I don't even. I mean, I would say pick 9 at that point. I feel like you're not getting one of those top running backs. So my first pick is probably going to be a wide receiver, I would say, in SFB, and maybe even my second round pick. Potentially tight end, depending on what's out there. Like I wouldn't be afraid to draft a tight end with one of those 2. Obviously, I just took Trey McBride with my first round pick in a 1.5 per reception for tight end league. So yeah, I would say I think you're looking at a wide receiver or you're looking at a tight end. If for some reason one of those big running backs falls, the Gibbs and Bijan aren't going to fall there. I'm saying if you enter a scenario where so many players go off the board that we weren't expecting, that there's a CMC or there's a Jonathan Taylor there, which again, I don't think that that's a high success rate. But if that's the case, then I go with one of those guys. Outside of that, probably wide receiver. Um, Albert Hoff. Yes, that's my name. Feel free to wear it out. Appreciate you, and good to be talking to you. So yeah, I'm going to be looking to do more of these shows, more of these drafts during the week. It's probably going to be a lot of pre-recorded stuff, though. Unfortunately, for the next couple of weeks, I got my reasons, scheduling conflicts. I'm leaving the house at about 5 in the morning, not getting home until about 9 at night. Don't want to talk about it. Just know that's the deal. But as we get into the season, there'll be a lot more live shows during the week for sure, and we'll get some other familiar faces in here to help out along the way. Steve D'Angelo, Pete will be around here and there. Looking to get Joe Carlton on. We'll get Big Ben in here. We'll get some of the faces here to help out. But if you have been with this channel for a while, appreciate you. Start re-following along. If you're new to the channel, we're gonna help you win some fantasy football championships, and we ask for nothing in return except for some likes and some subscribes. So yeah, all that's greatly appreciated. Looking forward to helping you guys out. Be that as it may, we are now entering the 15th round of an FFPC draft. This is a PPR league. It's a 1.5 for tight ends, and you can flex tight end with one of the 2 flex spots. That's why I have 3 tight ends thus far. I will go over my roster in a little bit, but as far as waiting on the quarterback position, we'll see what happens here in the 15th round. It starts off with another kicker, Jason Myers, one hell of a kicker last year, going off the board. If I will say, if I'm taking a kicker soon, it would be Kyami Fairbairn. But anyway, here we go here. So I decided to wait a little bit longer on my second quarterback. Since that time, since I decided to go with Trey Tucker at wide receiver, with the second pick of the 14th round, only 2 quarterbacks have gone off the board since then. Malik Willis, who, for all the jokes about the Dolphins, I do think that Malik Willis will put up some games, with some solid fantasy production. He's going to have to. They're going to be playing catch up in a bunch of these games too. It'll be interesting to see which wide receivers benefit from that. I will say that, but Malik Willis went off the board, 10th pick of the 14th. Then Baker Mayfield followed him. I would have taken Baker over Malik, but whatever. It's also your second quarterback, so not the end of the world. But yeah, and since then we have not seen another. Oh, and I forgot about Cameron Digger. Cameron Digger goes off the board, fifth pick of the 15th round. 3 kickers off the board so far. I am now 4 picks away, and do I want? I mean, kickers do score points here. Kickers do matter. Yeah, if Fairbairn's still there, I'll go with a Fairbairn. There's also my man Eddie Pinheiro, Eddie De Niro. Thank God the days of Jake Moody are over. I remember a certain somebody who's probably watching this show who told me that Jake Moody was automatic because he kicked for his favorite college team. That blew up my face pretty hard. Still picking the shrapnel out. Anyway, Denzel Boston goes off the board here with the 7th pick of the 15th round. 3 more picks, and then I'm up. This draft is 20 rounds. We are at an hour 18. If you've been sticking with us, God bless you. Feel free to hit the like and subscribe button. There goes Kyami Fairbairn. Would have been the kicker I would have taken. That's okay. That's good. That's good drafting by that person over there. 2 picks away. I think we're just going to cut the foreplay here. We're going to take another quarterback. I want to double check my bye week here for the Bills. Well, it's week 7 for the Bills. I always know your bye weeks. So I don't have a quarterback. There's no quarterback here except for Marcus Mariota in the top quarterbacks left, which he's down the list. Don't worry. Who would actually interfere with that bye week. So right now I'm looking at a Jordan Love, Sam Darnold, Daniel Jones if I want to, CJ Stroud if I want to, probably not. Cam Ward. I don't mind Cam Ward. Honestly, I'm probably going to go with one of the top 2, Jordan Love or Sam Darnold. Cam Ward, though, man, I like Cam Ward. Like, if anybody watched, and I talked about it yesterday, but if anybody watched Quarterbacks, the show on Netflix, I mean, I don't know how you could be a Titans fan, watch that, and not feel good about your quarterback or not feel good about the future of your team. That kid's a damn leader. That's for sure. Um, Let me see this here. What am I looking at? Wide receiver. Do I have anything? I should have waited for Stribling instead of taking fucking Pearsall, but whatever. This is what happened. Um, you know what? I will take Eddie P. Let's draft a kicker. Let's draft Eddie Pinheiro. And yeah, if you're saying that guy sounds like a jerk, the guy that that said Jake Moody was automatic, that guy is a big fucking jerk, big time. What a dick. Anyway, Helter Skelter is up for 2 picks. Mike Washington, running back for the Raiders, goes off the board. One more pick here, and then yeah, I will finally go with a quarterback here. George Halani, another running back. So the team 12 there is shoring up some things there. Yeah, you know what? Jordan Love and Sam Darnold are there, but you know what? I am going to go Cam Ward. I do think we can see improvement from Cam Ward, and also again, I have Josh Allen as my number 1 quarterback. There's hopefully will not be me needing to rely on Cam Ward a whole hell of a lot, but I'll take him here. Brian Dable over there now, the offensive coordinator, and they always said that Brian Dable wanted to work with Cam Ward, and now he's got him, so I'll take that, and yeah, drafting Cam Ward there, that's kind of like how people always talk about Hard Knocks and how that sometimes could influence the way people draft certain players and stuff. I'm not even gonna try and fucking lie and sugarcoat it to you. Me drafting Cam Ward there as my second quarterback has absolutely everything to do with the fact that I watched the quarterback season this week. 1,000%. Don't even care. Guilty as charged. Jordan Love goes off the board right after that with the 3rd pick of the 16th round. Let's look at our resident troll ATL and his team. Puka Nakua, Tyler Warren, Jeremiah Love, Jalen Waddle, Kyle Pitts, Carnell Tate, Rico Dowdle, Quentin Johnson, not a bad pick there. RJ Harvey, not a bad pick. Brock Purdy, my man, you know the way to my heart. Kenyon Sadiq, the 3rd tight end. Don't hate that as a 3rd tight end. And same bye week as Tyler Warren, but still, I mean, whatever. Not a huge deal, especially when it's your 3rd tight end. No, I like Kenyon Sadiq. I think he could produce. It's going to be interesting to see what that Jets offense does. Frank Reich there. I don't think Geno Smith will be as bad as he was last year. So the offensive line isn't the greatest with the Jets, but it should be better. It should be better. As long as they have a pulse, it should be better than what he was dealing with the Raiders last year. Anyway, so after Kenyon Sadiq, there's Tyjae Spears, solid pick. Ryan Flournoy, don't hate that either. Malik Willis, again, the only thing I would say is I would have taken Baker ahead of Malik, but you are a Dolphins fan, so maybe there was a bit of the fandom in there, but whatever, it's okay. It's also your second quarterback. I don't hate that team. There's not a ton of holes I could poke in there. Yeah, I dig it. I'll sign off on that. Yeah. Let me see this. Running backs are a little iffy for you, but running backs are a little iffy for me too. So, we're in the same boat on that one, and you did take the Chargers defense. So there you go. Yeah, I don't hate it. All right, we are in the middle of the 16th round. We're going to 20 rounds. If you guys are still hanging out in here, or if anybody's just joining, feel free to hit the like button. Helps us out a ton. We're at an hour and 20 minutes. Good golly, Miss Molly. I've got the movies to go to at 6:00. Going to see Odyssey in IMAX. So that should be good. Evan Ingram goes off the board with the 8th pick of the 16th round. Before that, Antonio Williams, Patriots defense, Brian Robinson of the now Atlanta Falcons, which if you're drafting, be careful which B. Robinson you're drafting from the Falcons. Don't mess that up this year. Marshawn Lloyd went the pick before Brian Robinson with the 4th pick of the 16th. And we've got a few more. We've got our Resident Troll is up next, and we'll round out the 16th round. I wanted to take a look at Team 2 because I did not like how he started. Well, I like the running backs. I just didn't like the 3 picks after that. Bijan Robinson, Kenneth Walker, Kyron Williams, DeAndre Swift, Bashaw Tootin, 5 running backs. I would have taken a different position in round 5. I wouldn't have gone 4 running backs either way, but even if I had those 4 running backs, I'm not a Tootin guy. I do toot, but I do not like tooting. Alec Pierce, Chris Godwin off the board after that. I talked about those first 7 rounds. After that, though, Wandale Robinson, who should, I know Carnell Tate is there, obviously the rookie, but Wandale Robinson, I already referenced Brian Dable, but he follows Brian Dable over to Tennessee. Don't hate that pick. Michael Wilson, solid pick. We'll see what he does. Um, Kind of the reverse of my squad here, where running backs are more of a question mark, and I feel better about wide receiver. It's kind of the reverse with this team. He does go after Michael Wilson. He goes back to back to back tight ends. Chigga Conqua, Jawan Johnson, Hunter Henry. All 3 solid tight ends. I don't know how consistent they'll be. Hunter Henry actually he's flown under the radar for fantasy quite a bit last few years. But yeah, whatever. So Chigga Conqua, who's now with the Commanders, Jawan Johnson, obviously with the Saints, and Hunter Henry with the Patriots. After that, we see back-to-back quarterbacks for Team 2, Kyler Murray, Baker Mayfield. Don't hate that. Takes care of the quarterback position late. Then the Vikings defense, and then goes 2 kickers. I wonder if he timed out there on that pick, and I just didn't notice because back-to-back kickers in the 13th and 16th and 17th round, so weird strategy. But okay. Anyway, David Njoku out there to vulture some touchdowns with the Chargers. He is taken with the 3rd pick of the 17th round. Decent pick there, especially the fact that it's your 4th tight end. I don't hate that. I should stop scrolling. I'm probably going to make all you sick over there that are watching. The few of you that are left at this point. All right. So Justice Hill goes off the board. I am 6 picks away. Let me see what I'm working with here. Try and pick a direction. I currently have my 2 quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, and I have my kicker. I don't have a defense at this point. I mean, whatever defense is going to be. I feel like if I don't have a defense yet at this point with the defenses that have gone off the board, it's going to be a juggling of defense throughout the year. Ugh, yeah, those are not ideal. Anyway, all right, so let's look at some of these other teams here. Could go wide receiver here. And running back. I don't think I need to go tight end. Let's see the tight ends here. I'm only 2 picks away now, so I should get ready. Tight ends. No, tight ends feel like it's pretty much dried up here as far as tight ends. I could take a Theo Johnson, who was referenced earlier from Jamie talking about Isaiah Likely, but I'm not worried enough about Isaiah Likely to feel like I have to pair Theo Johnson up there. So I think I'm done at tight ends. I think I'll just go with my 3 tight ends there and be happy about it. Trey McBride, Dallas Goedert, Isaiah Likely. So we'll focus on somewhere else. The Philadelphia defense goes off the board, 9th pick of the 17th round. We've got the 10th pick of the 17th round. It's Deebo Samuel, who I think, should have a home soon. Training camps are about to go. I just go back to the 49ers, Deebo. You'll be fine. Whatever. Anyway, that's my fandom getting in the way. I'm going to go with a wide receiver here. And I will say, if I didn't have Ricky Pearsall, I would go with Stribling, but I do have Ricky P, and I don't want two Niners at wide receiver. At least not those guys. I'm going to go Adonai Mitchell. I think Adonai Mitchell could be sneaky in the Jets offense. And again, when I'm talking about taking Adonai Mitchell, I am taking him in the 17th round, late 17th round. So it's not like I'm, it's not like I'm investing an early round pick on him. So I will go that way. I will say Malik Washington with the Dolphins is a little intriguing. If I don't take him, I wonder if he'll make it back to, he'll probably make it back to our resident troll ATL, who I already referenced is a Dolphins fan. I am back on the clock. And let's see where we want to go here. This is gross at running back. How much time do I have left? Let me see this here. I'm looking at about, if I could scroll up, but it doesn't want me to. So, okay. Yeah, you know what? Let's go Sean Tucker. Sean Tucker every now and again gives you that pop week. I'll just take a look at that, see what happens there. 18th round pick, only 2 more rounds to go. So one of these picks will be a defensive pick for me. Again, I already decided at this point I'm just going to be streaming defenses on a week to week basis. Um, but yeah, so far here, as I get ready, I'll just read off my team. Just know as I read this off, running backs are not my strong suit, but I knew that once I got past the first 3 rounds and into the fourth round. Trey McBride, CD Lamb, Josh Allen. So I mean, those are 3 serious pillars, and then after that, it's kind of a mixture of I like my tight ends, but there is some rolling of the dice action here with some of these players. But all right, let's get into it. Trey McBride, CD Lamb, Josh Allen. After that, I go Travis Etienne, Devontae Adams, who not a PPR darling, but scores enough touchdowns to kind of negate the fact that he's not getting a ton of receptions. After that, Tony Pollard consistently gets 1,000 yards, even though he's not sexy for fantasy, at least when you hear his name. Then I went back-to-back tight ends, Dallas Goedert, whom I love with no more A.J. Brown, Isaiah Likely, who I've been hearing good things about him, and Jackson Dart. After that, Chris Rodriguez, who I like more in PPR. I prefer him over Bashaw Tootin, even though I know Tootin will get more work. I'll go Ricky. After that, Ricky Pearsall, Romeo Dubs, Khalil Shakir. Yeah, the only reason why Shakir's on my roster is I figured maybe I can go ahead and get a little bit of a if there's that one random week where I do start Khalil Shakir and he pops with Josh Allen, my quarterback, so whatever. After that, I went Tyler Algier. I know Jeremiah Love is there, but I mean, they paid for Tyler Algier. I'm sure they must have had a thought that Jeremiah Love could have been in their future as well. So I still think Algier gets some work. I just think it's going to be a little more painful for him and for fantasy, for people who roster him in fantasy. After that, Trey Tucker, who I talked about when I drafted him with the second pick in the 14th round. There are not a lot of players out there outside of Brock Bowers that are going to have a big target share. I think Trey Tucker can have the highest target share outside of a Brock Bowers on that offense. Maybe Ashton Genty gets in there in terms of target share pass in the passing game. After that, I did go kicker with Eddie Dinero, kicking it through the uprights in Santa Clara. Then I took my second QB with Cam Ward, then Adonai Mitchell, then Sean Tucker at running back. And we are now, with me naming all those names, we are now rounding out the 18th round going into the 19th. So I will make my final 2 picks and then I'll wrap things up. I already kind of gave a breakdown of our resident troll ATL's team. After he took Malik Willis in the Chargers defense that I referenced, Calvin Ridley, solid pick there, especially in the 16th round. David Njoku, which I did mention. Then you took Emmanuel Wilson. I'm surprised you didn't go Malik Washington, but then again, you have enough wide receivers at this point. I'm just surprised the Dolphin fan didn't go with Washington. That's not me making fun either, actually. Just like I said earlier, when you took Malik Willis in the 14th round, there's going to be some pop weeks for Malik Willis. He's going to have to because they're going to be behind. One of those wide receivers is going to have to benefit. Why can't a Malik Washington? So, I referenced the Raiders wide receiver room. I mean, the Dolphins one isn't much different. There's not a ton of huge names in there, so somebody's got to pop. Let me see this. I'm 1, you are 2. Okay, that's fine. You're 1, I'm 2. Or I could be 1, you could be 2, whatever. Is it bad to wait till the last 5 rounds to draft all your tight ends you ever try it? If I'm in a league where tight ends are 1.5 per reception to the last 5 rounds, no, I'm not waiting till the last 5 rounds. No, definitely not. I will say, in every single draft that is a 1.5 per reception for tight ends, am I investing a first round pick like I did with Trey McBride? No, definitely not. More often than not, I'm not doing that. But I did do it here this time. Just once I knew I was picking at the back end of the first round, I thought Trey McBride could be a thing for me. But no, I probably would have waited till 4th, 5th round, depending on time. Well, 5th or 5th or 6th, depending on. It also would depend on how tight ends were flying off the board in that particular draft. But Would I be waiting till the last 5 rounds to draft all of my tight ends? No. Would I maybe think to scoop up if there was one there last minute that I liked? Perhaps. And I'll even just look for the hell of it. I'm on the clock. I got 60 seconds here to make a pick. I mean, there's not gonna be any tight ends out here anyway. Yeah, I mean, yeah, at this point you're looking at, guys like Darnell Washington, Mason Taylor, Michael Mayer, Oscar Delp, Elijah Arroyo, Cole Kmet, like Theo Johnson, Jatavian Sanders with the Panthers. Like, no, not really doing that. Stowers, Colby, Pat, Tonjes, Gasecki as a tight end room coach. It could work. Yeah. You know what though, to that point, I mean, you would obviously know then, even though you start tight end and then you've got 2 flexes, you're obviously well aware that you're probably not flexing a tight end. You're starting one every week and you're riding whatever the hot hand is. And Tonjes could be good depending on how long Kittle's out. I think Kittle's back right away, but I don't yeah, you could make that work. You would just know that you're only starting one tight end at that point. It's not a thing where you're flexing. All right, so I am up now with my final pick, and I do need a defense. Um, Whatever. Do I want to be? Do I want to be a homer or do I want to? Yeah, listen. I could take the Packers defense. I'll take the Niners defense. I'm a Niner fan. I'll take the Niners defense. Whatever. I'm going to be rotating the defenses out here. Honestly, though, defense in week 1 with the Niners will be a little tough going up against the Rams, but after that, going up against the Dolphins and the Cardinals, I'll probably weather the storm through week 1 with the 49ers defense in order to have weeks 2 and 3 against the Dolphins and the Cardinals. And then I'll look to pivot in week 4, depending on whatever the matchups are, depending on what defenses are out there. But that'll do it for the show, folks. We're at almost an hour and 40 minutes. I'll read off my roster. Again, this roster would look completely different if it wasn't a 1.5 per reception for tight ends. But I'm starting 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, a tight end. I could flex 2 people. One of them can be a tight end. Then I have a kicker, a defense, 20 rounds in total. My roster reads off as Trey McBride, CeeDee Lamb, Josh Allen, getting the pillars to start the team. After that, we go with Travis Etienne, Devontae Adams, Tony Pollard, Dallas Goedert, Isaiah Likely. That's my tight end room there. Afterwards, I go with Chris Rodriguez, Ricky Pearsall, Romeo Dubs, Khalil Shakir, Tyler Algier, Trey Tucker, Eddie Pinheiro, Cam Ward, Adonai Mitchell, Sean Tucker. I do like Darnell Mooney. I have some best ball shares, so I like him more so there as we wait for neighbors to be ready. And then I end it all with the end it all. That sounds rather dramatic. That sounded like I was off myself. I ended it all with the 49ers defense. So no, we will go to battle with this team. Again, this draft was done over at FFPC, $35 draft. We got to set a lineup every single week on this one. It is a fun little site. You could do some little leagues like that for 35, or you can really up it. You can do anywhere from, 100, 300, 350, 500. It goes up and up and up. You can get high stakes if you really like. But all in all, I feel good about this draft. I referenced Resident Troll ATL's draft a couple times, but I do think he had a good draft as well. And appreciate him drafting with me today. But that'll do it for today. If you're watching this, please feel free to hit the like button. If you have any questions, comments, want to rip my team apart, fire it into the comments. I will answer you, guaranteed, especially if you rip my team. Jamie says, I just want to be transparent and I'm not going to only answer the takes and say, oh, you did such a good draft. If you think it's shit, say it's shit and we'll talk about it. Jamie says, enjoy the movie. Thank you, kind sir. And myself back there. I'll be seeing Odyssey in a couple hours. Looking forward to it. Hearing all great things. Not surprised because it's Christopher Nolan. I will say, Prestige is the most underrated Christopher Nolan movie out there. If you haven't watched it, watch it. Watch it twice. Christian Bale, Hugh Jackman. And yeah, and he fired off that gem just before he made The Dark Knight. That just goes to Christopher Nolan. But you're not here for that. You're here for fantasy football, in which case I will tell you more shows will be coming out next week, maybe some pre-recorded content. We'll have some live stuff on the weekends as well. But until next time, stay thirsty, be kind to one another. We'll catch you on the flip side, and cheers.